It's Thursday. It's a good day to have a good day. Hi, everyone. My name's Cece Ray. Thank you for joining me. We are recapping Salt Lake City. That's right, the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion part 2. The struggle's real here, people. Just to let you know, the struggle is real. It's kind of hard to have a reunion when one of the cast members who was in and out of every storyline all season is not there. It's like a huge puzzle missing. But we're going to chat about it anyway. But before we do, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And with that, let's break the dish. The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion part 2. Now, if you saw part 1, you saw that they ended with the whole discussion about Heather Gay's black eye. How'd she get it? Who did it? I mean, it's a game of Clue here. However, we ended the reunion with Angie K. Listen, I know she's a friend of the show. She's trying to become a real housewife. I'm not really thrilled with her, to be honest. She rubs me the wrong way. And this is the reason why. This is an example right here. So they ended the reunion part 1 with her making an accusation that, she heard that Heather Gay and Jen got on it, it was sexual, scissoring was involved, and she got a black eye. Girl, not only are you trying hard, but you are reaching. That's just one example of why I'm not really thrilled with Angie K. I mean, you might be. I'm not really thrilled with her. If it was between the two Angies, I definitely would pick Angie H. For sure. I think that she's funny. She can be shady. She can be sweet. She has a lot going for her. And I would definitely pick her over Angie K. But let's get into it, shall we? So that's how the reunion picked up, is still discussing Heather Gay's black eye. And she keeps saying, listen, I blacked out. I don't know what happened. And Andy's questioned her, do you think Jen did it? She's like, no, I don't think so. And, he explains to everybody that there was no footage. It went under investigation. There was nothing to be said. So it comes down to that Heather was embarrassed. She was ashamed. And that's the end of that storyline right there. Yep. That's the end of that. So anyway, it goes on to Whitney. And she is, discussing her healing journey. She started having physical manifestations and realized that she had to look into it. And that she was abused when she was younger. Listen, it's horrible. And she's talking about how she was upset that she got a lot of hate, questions from the cast, from the viewers. And that's not right. She was trying to be vulnerable and sharing this with us. But that storyline didn't quite make it to the end. And she also has no contact with the abuser. She's never spoken to the person. But That's what they were talking about. And like I said, anybody who's been abused should never be questioned. Never be questioned. And I agree with Whitney on that. Then they go on about Heather and Whitney's relationship, which is non-relationship now. They do not speak. Still. And we saw a glimpse of that if you saw BravoCon when they were up on the panel. You knew that things weren't going so well. Even though, from what I understand, they are in season 3 of the Real Housewives trip. So I'm not quite sure, but they're still not speaking. And it all started with that lingerie party, which was hard to watch in itself. And Heather is saying to her that she never heard a rumor from Angie H. Never heard it. She doesn't know what she's talking about. And Whitney says, you're lying. And Heather's trying to tell her, I haven't heard any rumors. The only rumors I heard were the rumors that you told me when you took me in my bedroom and sat me down and told me you heard all these rumors. She's like, that's the first I've heard of it. And Whitney didn't believe her, and so they're recapping this. And listen, Whitney, stop drinking. Your point would come across much better if you weren't drunk. So let's stop drinking, and maybe, everyone will listen to you a little bit more. That's my message to you. However, they're just recapping this is how the fight started between the two. And the result is that Heather, doesn't want anything to do with her right now. That's it. She does not want anything to do with her. And they also recap all the different conversations in the hot tub. And that's when Whitney had declared that she was going on a friendship break, which Heather had no idea about. Again, this is why they're not speaking. But they also were talking about the other conversations that happened in the hot tub too, with Jen. And how Jen was trashing Heather, basically. And then Lisa decided to drop a little nugget during the reunion and said that she had all these text messages, and they showed it to you, about how much Jen hated Heather. Get that. And we've seen Jen trash Heather in all the seasons. And Heather just goes back to her. And nobody knows why. And that's what they're discussing as well. Why is she ride or die for Jen, but won't give Whitney a second chance? It's a curious question, right? I mean, Whitney had tried over and over and over and over again to have discussions with Heather. She wanted to talk things out to improve their relationship. And Heather's like, nope, not going to happen. But yet, Jen trashes her all the time. And yet, she's right there for her. So, does it make sense? No, it does not make sense whatsoever. And, but then they started talking about Heather changing. And Andy confronts Heather about how she seemed different this season. And I agree, she was completely different. The first couple seasons, I adored Heather. I thought, what a great housewife. Like, she really is good, likable, real. She was struggling with her faith. She was open about that. We know that, because she went on the show and because she was coming away from the church, that her family turned their backs on her. Lots of her friends did. I mean, this was a huge deal, and this was all going on the first couple seasons, that's what made her write a book. And she was saying to Andy that, yeah, she wasn't herself this season. That, while writing the book, it brought up a lot of emotions and she was having trouble basically processing it, which I understand, but I wasn't really thrilled with Heather this season. I really wasn't. So I hope the real Heather comes back next season, because that Heather I really enjoyed. And she's also explaining to Andy that she's under a lot of stress with the book, that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is suing her. But actually, here's a little tidbit for you. They're not actually suing her. They're not. Let me share this with you. The church is not trying to prevent the book from reaching bookstores as scheduled, which is on February 7th. It's not suing over anything between the covers. It's suing over what's on the cover, which is the title. And the title is Bad Mormon. I think it's a great title. And that's why they are in litigation about this, because Heather's trying to trademark it, and they don't want that done. What they're trying to say is that it looks bad on the church, basically. You know what I'm saying? It makes people think that the members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints are immoral or bad, and that could be further from the case. And they're saying that that's why they don't want the title used. Now, is that going to prevent the book from coming out? No. The book is going to come out on February 7th. But if she wants to do anything additional, any type of merch, shirts, hats, tumblers with Bad Mormon on it, she's not going to be able to. That's what they're fighting for, and they are still in litigation for that. And I have a feeling the church probably will win. They've done this before with many, many other cases, because they've trademarked Mormon in many different versions. So, and they've won most of those cases. So I don't think that that's going to happen. I think they're going to stop her. But that's not going to stop her book from coming out, Bad Mormon. And I hope she's successful with this book. She put her heart and soul into it, and I think possibly it might be an interesting read. Would you read it? I might. You never know. I might read it. So, going back to the reunion. The husbands now join, and, when Andy starts talking to Whitney's husband, because he lost his job over the scene from last season when they decided to paint each other. You remember that scene, right? That was a scene that was hard to watch. And he got fired right after that scene viewed. And I understand why. Because if you're representing a brand or a company, they don't want their employees to be seen in that light. But he's enjoying his time off. He loves it. He feels like maybe it's the best thing that happened to him. So, sometimes everything happens for a reason. And he might be just proof of that. You never know. Lisa's husband expressed that he wasn't happy with Meredith's husband, because Meredith's husband was teasing about Lisa and making fun of her, and so he wasn't really thrilled with that. But I'm pretty sure that that can be laid to rest, and they will get over that for sure. Then really the last part of this long reunion was about Jen Shaw. She pled guilty. She's going to prison. That's what they were talking about. And we knew they were going to have to talk about it. They couldn't avoid it. They had to talk about it. But some things came up in there that were quite interesting. The number one, everybody started questioning Meredith. Meredith, she didn't like Jen. She had a really hard time with her last season after all the posts that she did about Meredith's son. She really wanted nothing to do with her. When Jen got arrested, she put it out there that she wasn't surprised. She also shared that she had a problem in her store with one of Jen's friends. And so she really wanted nothing to do with her at all. And then all of a sudden this season comes in and her and Jen are buddies. And everyone's questioning it. So Meredith explains that before their San Diego trip, she found out that Jen tried to commit suicide. Now we all know that Meredith had an issue within her family. I believe it was her nephew about a year ago. And so that hits home for her. And so she said, I'm going to support this person. This person needs help. She needs to feel supported. And I'm going to support her. And I don't care what anybody thinks. And that's exactly what Meredith was explaining. So that's why her and Jen, became friends. But it came up that the question was, did Jen take the plea for a reason? Did she? Apparently there was a rumor running around that it was to make sure nothing happened to her husband, to make sure that he wasn't questioned or something could happen to him. I mean, how could he not know what she was doing? I mean, he makes 6 figures, but I mean, she was making more than 6 figures there. I mean, he must have had to question, like, where's all this money coming from? He must have had to question it. But that's what they're saying, that they heard a rumor. Could it be true? The other thing is they think she pled because, listen, it's expensive to go to trial. It's expensive to fight for your innocence. And they had solicited money from all their friends because they couldn't pay to keep going. And get this, guess what came out? You remember when during the season, Angie H's husband made a post. It was really about Lisa, but he put it under her Shaw name, Jen Shaw's last name. And her and her husband had such a big problem with them. And at the finale, I believe it was, Angie H's husband apologized and they made up. Guess who gave them money to help them? Angie H and her husband. Exactly. This is why I think she would make a good housewife. That's why I think so. I really think that Angie H is real in some ways. I mean, come on, she's going to stand up for her husband for doing that post. I mean, he just did it to get back at Lisa. But I have a feeling there's more to uncover with Angie H. And so I really hope she becomes a housewife. With that being said, though, yep, they gave money to them, but they couldn't keep going. And so that's why everybody thinks she pled guilty. Is she guilty? They also think that there was, this is all, different opinions going on within the reunion. And there was another opinion that felt as though there was some sort of evidence, maybe a text message to Stu that put her down there where she couldn't get out of it. and it showed that she was in charge and knew about everything. Was there? I don't know. We didn't get those details, but however, she pled guilty. And so these were the different comments that were being made of why you think she pled guilty. Do you think she was guilty? You know. However, the cast hasn't spoken to her. I think Heather's the only one that's actually spoken to her now. The ride or die. But that was the end of the reunion. They actually ended it singing happy birthday to Lisa and Meredith. That was it. Yeah. This was the worst reunion I have ever seen on Bravo, I think. I mean, it was hard to watch. It was hard not to change the channel. See what I do for you? See that? I did this for you. It really was hard to watch. But I would love to know what you thought about the reunion. What do you think about next season? Who do you think is going to be Housewives? Who's going to be new? You think they're going to bring in one of the Angies or somebody else? And is there going to be a Salt Lake City next season? Is there? I would love to hear your thoughts. So make sure you comment down below. But you know, before you do, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, because you know what we do here.